Alisa, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy whirlwind schedule to sit down and talk with us today. Remind everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Alisa Gbiorczyk, and I hunt human traffickers and exploiters on the internet and on the ground.
Very cool. So you were on the show last January, so about a year, and I feel like since then your career has like really ramped up. Tell us about Cyber Nitewatch and all the stuff that you've been doing over the last year.
Wow, yes, it's been some time and things have definitely changed. I feel like time has gone so fast and so slow at the same time. I started my own company called Cyber Nitewatch, and we basically train and assist and support law enforcement agencies around the world. We also train community members, we assist nonprofits. Really, we try to fill in the gaps that aren't already there. I have a very diverse team coming from all different backgrounds, from medical to psychologists. So I try to fill in every single place that is needed in this fight. And we focus a lot on different parts of this issue, everything from parents, kind of like you do, focusing on how to keep them up to date on the cyber advances and the different trends on social media and how to keep them safe. We try to engage in really real, dark conversations, really. The conversations people don't really want to have.
Right.
We're in there trying to push these conversations forward so that they could be out there, they can be discussed. We've been traveling the world, right? So I've barely been home. We've gone to South Africa, we've gone abroad to Europe. I've trained in Ukraine. I've been in the UK. It's really been crazy on the plane. My team's been going everywhere. And then we kind of started our own online courses so that those courses are available to those that can't travel to us or if we can't travel to them. So we've got a lot going on. There's a lot of points to hit, but we're not slowing down. It's only getting more and more intense and more busy. So we're very
Right.
happy about that.
Yeah, and that's good. It's good that people are, seeking out your counsel and all of the skill sets that you and your team have. Like, that's amazing. So, like, in the countries that you've worked in, how are the governments responding to what you're teaching them? What's like the level of like enthusiasm? What are the barriers, that sort of thing?
So we're seeing a lot of interest in cyberspace now. So I know this has been an issue that has been brought up for years, but I think people are starting to catch on that, oh geez, this is kind of an issue. Now we have cyber kidnapping, we have other
Yep.
aspects of crimes that are just evolving. And eventually what I'm seeing is the governments are starting to see that a lot of the CCM, child sexual abuse material, is meshing with the trafficking now. So we're starting to see the issues kind of mesh together. Now children can be exploited from their bedrooms, right, with their parents, on the other side of the wall. So I think governments are starting to dip their toes into an oh crap moment. We kind of have to address this, but I still think we have a long ways to go to get there. Our law enforcement definitely needs more training, as always. They need more free training, they need more resources, or more funding for that. Our prosecutions and our legal policy systems, they need a lot of help as well on training, indicators on just basic human trafficking information and awareness. But I think our government, they're starting to catch on. They're starting to develop some initiatives, starting to develop some awareness days, and they're starting to concentrate on these issues. However, the big issue that me and my team see is, okay, we're going to build all these events, we're going to build all these awareness days, we're going to start talking about it, posting on social media, but usually it just ends there.
Right.
And there's
Right.
not much more to it. It's almost like a check the box moment. So I
Right.
try to, anytime I'm in front of some sort of a government body or in a meeting, I try to ask them the difficult questions, as in, okay, so we've been talking about this for 4 years now. What are we going to do now? Like, where are the action steps to get to that point? Now we need to start doing action steps, not just talking about it. We're way past that. So they're getting there. They're open to it, but they're they're
They're
getting
getting there. That's good.
there.
That's
Yeah.
good. They are getting there.
Yep.
You just mentioned, being in Ukraine. Obviously, that's a hot spot right now. Now, I know you have like operational security standards and stuff like that, but how
Yep.
has trafficking affected that country?
Oh, my trip to Ukraine was um it brought a mixture of emotions. Just, seeing the people there. and how they're just able to live so simply. I mean, I thought of you're walking through a park and you see children playing, right? And then a bomb shelter right next door. It really kind of hit me while I was there. As far as the human trafficking goes, there's still a big issue there. As there is in almost every country I've visited, there's signs and indicators of exploitation and trafficking. But we do know that anytime there is conflict or war or any humanitarian crisis, there's going to be a heightened risk for women and children and young boys. So it really wasn't any different as far as visually than
Hmm.
some of the other countries I've been to. But obviously, operational and the work that I do, I'm able to kind of see a little bit deeper than the surface, what's going on online, what are the cases being um, going back and forth between law enforcement and the community. It's just as intense as before. It's just a
Hmm.
little bit not concentrated on, not everybody's focusing on this crisis right now. So I would just say that it's happening everywhere, almost the same rate. If not, we don't even know how far it's gone. But I've seen a lot of my cases personally that haven't, they're still in the other countries. They're still being moved around. Potential victims are still being moved around, and it's still a big problem there. Of course, I experienced a big bombing attack.
Oh,
so,
okay.
so a lot of the stuff I don't exactly recall when I was there after the fact because it was a big focus on that extreme event. However, yeah, it was a great experience for me to, get my real touch on the issues that they're dealing with and actually talk to the real people there that are experiencing these scary events and still holding strength
Yeah.
during it all.
Yeah, that's amazing. That takes a lot of fortitude for a people, for families, and for all of that. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
change my whole thinking. To be
right.
honest. So,
Well, is there a story that you can share with us from your travels that can help us better like understand where human trafficking is today in 2024?
so I work a lot. I've just started working a lot on the ground as well as in cyberspace. And what I would say is it's very difficult to see it in person
Hmm.
unless it's outright in front of you or you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, to be
Sure,
honest,
sure.
which I have been before. Um, Estonia, but we're not going to talk about that. But I would say that um, it depends on the country, really. You go to Vietnam, you go to Cambodia, it's, you have children being exploited right in front of your face every day. You go to other countries like Germany, Poland, some of these countries, it's more hidden. It's on the internet mostly. And a lot of these traffickers are, as we always talk about, are moving everything online. Everything's digital because it's cheaper, it's less risk, and people don't know how to look for it. That's why there's a big concentration on training in OSINT, as well as information security, cyber security, or how the internet works, because they are definitely leveraging the internet for their operations, and it's getting so bad that I have noticed that a lot of these exploiters from other countries, if we're going to speak on other countries, are even hiring hackers. They're even
Hmm.
hiring people that are good at manipulating, doing human intelligence on the internet, social engineering. And so we're seeing a heightened risk of that, but we're also seeing a heightened risk in psychological manipulation. So that's where we're going to get into my article that I wrote
Hmm.
about the self-harm communities that are on Discord, on Telegram, that a lot of these children are feeling like they feel like they're a part of something. They want to feel like they're a part of something cool, something secret, right? And then that's where the psychological manipulation happens. That's where the CSAM comes. That's where the self-harming photography, etc., happens. And it's not just right in front of our faces anymore. It's on our devices. So I would say that when I travel, there are going to be some places that I have seen it happen. I was in Turkey and I saw a little boy being exploited. I saw signs of young girls being basically sold. But then you'll go to Germany or these other places and it's not going to be right in front of your face.
Mhm.
So it's a really, it depends. It's hard to tell like a specific story, to tell
Sure. Yeah.
how the human trafficking environment is because it's all over the place.
Right.
And it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
So
So okay, so you went through a lot of great stuff in your response there. You started talking about how traffickers are hiring hackers and things like that.
yeah.
So it sounds like their methods are changing, they're evolving. So what's the new stuff that we as parents need to be aware of right now? You even mentioned Discord and special Discord servers and all of that. So I know it's a big question, but like, what's the big thing in 2024 we need to be aware of?
Geez, because there's so many things to be aware of. Social media,
Mhm.
gaming platforms, probably my top two concerns right now. Um, there are a lot of chat apps out there. There's so many, and I've been really working on a project right now for parents to just have like a newsletter go out just to let them know, hey, this is the hot app out there. Keep that,
Mhm.
be aware of it. But also, I think that as parents, we all need to be just more involved in our child's life, regardless. Get to know your kid. If your kid's obsessed with some video game on the internet, maybe they're on Discord or Steam, which Steam is actually one that people don't talk about as often. Uh, Ask to play that game with them.
Mhm.
Get to know your child. It's going to be a pain in the butt. You're going to hate it probably the first couple times, but play that dang game that they're playing every night in their room by themselves. Sometimes they just want companionship or friendship. So first of all, do that. And then secondly, yes, be aware of Discord, be aware of the other apps of Kick. I've said it many times, of their Instagram. Do they have Telegram? But I'm seeing more and more cases come out of Discord, more and more. Same with Roblox, right?
Mhm.
I just made a Roblox account just because of this, because I'm like, what is going on? And I'm a gamer, so
Sure.
kind of odd. I don't already have an account, but I was like, what is going on this game? I want to see. So I'll be writing a report on that soon. And then another thing that I see evolving that we've all stopped talking about is VR, specifically
Mhm.
VR chat.
Mhm.
Um, I had a cohort that I was working with a year ago, I think when we met, where I did a walkthrough with them on VR chat. And I was harassed to the point I had to take it off
Ooh.
by kids, not just
Uh,
by adults, although
by
there were
kids.
by kids.
Yeah.
So there's another problem, cyberbullying, that we need to be concerned
Yep.
about. Yes, VR and Discord, any chat app, social media, they're still doing the old human intelligence. I love you. I care about you. And sometimes those work because us as parents or their circles, they're lacking something. And we need to figure out what they're lacking so that they can be strong enough to voice out their concerns, voice out their feelings, and let us know before it gets too far.
Right.
So we can't always be so careful. We can install any app we want on our kids' devices, but they're gonna find a way to get around it.
Right.
If they were anything like me, they could get
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah. I've
So
thought about that as myself as a kid because I didn't grow up with a smartphone. And I'm
yeah,
thinking, you know what? I probably would have like done some sketchy stuff here and there too. So, but
I
also,
did. I
yeah,
I admit
yeah.
it.
Right. And I think as a parent, when that sort of thing happens, how you respond to that situation is really going to be helpful. But you mentioned something earlier in our conversation, and I want to follow up on it. You talked about how kids can be exploited in their bedrooms now,
Yep.
even if you're sharing a wall. I have said for a long time that your kid can be exploited while you're in the kitchen making dinner and they're in their room doing whatever. I
Mhm.
get a ton of pushback from parents on that. Can you explain that scenario a little bit better so maybe they'll understand it better from you than from me?
Yes, definitely. So I'm going to just confirm that yes, your child can be exploited. We've had many cases, even in the past month, where that's happened. And then either the child goes missing randomly and the parents are like, but my child is so good, blah, blah, blah. But really, they were chatting with someone that was able to push them and manipulate them into running away. And then they were, they were being trafficked after that. So it can lead to more extreme situations. However, we're talking about two different types of exploitation. That could be anything from emotional manipulation. And that could be manipulating them into doing sexual favors for them, sending images, inappropriate images, saying things they wouldn't normally say, or being pushed to share too much about themselves or any secrets of their family. Also, there could be something called you sent me these pictures, I'm going to share them around all these social media sites. You know that it's illegal that you're taking pictures of yourself,
Right.
and they get entrapped in some sort of a cycle of exploitation there. So there's different types of exploitation, and your child could be talking to someone in Romania that they don't even know that has all this information on them, and they could be sharing it on another site with other threat actors. Or your child's videos could end up on some site on the dark internet, where millions of people are looking at them. That is exploitation. Just because it's cyber, just because it's digital, does not mean it doesn't cause real pain, real hurt, and real trauma. Sometimes we say that this is a different type of trauma and exploitation because the more the imagery or the videos are viewed, that victim is being re-exploited every single time it's viewed. So as a child back in the day who did grow up with the internet, we are doing crazy stuff on the internet. It's going to happen. So don't think that your child's not capable. I was a good kid. I had great grades. I was in sports. I had friends. But we sometimes are thrown in situations where we are tempted, and we needed the education that we have now. So yes, your child can be exploited in their bedrooms, and you can look for signs on that. We can provide some more resources on what to look for and how to address it. Don't just come in your kid's room and yell at them, right?
Right.
Because I already know what they're going to do, because I did it too. You don't understand, and I'll go to the store and buy an iPod. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
so I think parents need to understand that there's different types of exploitation here, and the trauma and psychological impacts are very important, to address and understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is, when we were wrapping up our conversation last year, you said something like brilliant to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have quoted you on it ever since. As a matter of fact, I quoted you twice last week on it. And here's what you said. At the end of the day, your child coming to you openly and not feeling shamed or judged is going to be what saves your child's life.
Yes.
Like how important is this parent-child relationship to keeping them from being exploited?
It's absolutely vital. We can only control as parents what we can, but there's one thing that we could do is develop that trust, that communication. Once our children are outside of our homes, once they're outside of our reach, they're going to have to rely on the foundations that we have set, while they're in our care, right? That's why I'm so critical, and I try to push this so far forward, because as parents, we need to set the foundation for them to be able to make the decisions and have the skills to make the decisions without us there. So having open communication, having all the questions, right in front of us to be able to address at the moment, it's important. And it's not only going to save your child's life from exploitation, but it's going to save your own sanity, your own life. None of us want to get that phone call.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
None of us want to go into that room and see them gone, or no one wants to, be calling them at all ends of the night, wondering where they're at. So not only is it going to impact them, which is our priority, but it's also going to help us as well. And so having that emotional connection, um, just getting to know your child. I know that we're all against don't be your child's friend, right?
Right.
However, look, if that's going to save your child from being exploited or manipulated from some creep on the internet, why not? Get to know them, get to know what they like to do, get to know what apps they like to use, and ask them questions about it.
Right.
No problem
Yeah.
with that.
I think just being like a really involved parent,
Yeah.
is just really it. Like I tell my son all the
Mhm.
time, I love him because I'm his dad, but I like him because he's a good person.
Exactly.
Like I know him. I know, like he gets that little smirk of a smile, and I'm like, oh, he's getting ready to zing me good here. He's getting ready to,
Yeah.
to do something. So yeah, just like it's not like you have to dress differently or,
Oh,
go to whatever websites they're going to. Just know them, know their heart, know their behavior. There's going to be signs in there. Uh,
I sometimes joke during my parents' classes because I've had questions like, "Oh, my son likes to go outside and sit on a hammock at like 2 in the morning." I'm like, "Well, then go sit with him. I'm pretty sure he won't want to sit there anymore at 2 in the morning if you're right next to him."
yeah, I'm going to see
It's
what this
kind of
thing's about. Yeah. Or
yeah,
already be out there and say, hey, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly.
That's good. All right.
Yep.
So we've talked about a lot of heavy stuff here. So is there like a positive story that you can share with us over the last year? Like maybe a connection you made, a case that you made, something like that to kind of help us see the upside of what's happening?
So, during our time working as a team at Cyber Nightwatch, we've trained many different law enforcement agencies, three large ones. We've been assisting a lot of cases in Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as in Europe, and we've had successful identifications of sexual exploitation, predators, and traffickers. And then also, we had a big case in South Africa during the training that our team, it was presented to us, a case, and my team kind of looked at it after class, and we were able to identify a photographer that was actually exploiting young children. And there has been multiple arrests after that. So we don't really like to promote our wins, but we're
Sure.
having a lot of them. And we're very fortunate that we actually get to hear about the wins because usually we disseminate the intelligence package and law enforcement handles it, and then we don't hear from it again. But we have great partners that keep us up to date on what happens with our cases, and we're working really hard to keep moving those up. So far, I've done personally over 400 something cases, 425, I think. That's just me. I don't know about my other team members, but we're really rolling them out. And I think the biggest success is that we're growing and people are starting to, see that we're moving forward and we're building an academy and we're really growing. And that's something that I'm very fortunate to be able to keep doing this work, and keep identifying, putting names to these victims, and pushing them forward to prosecution. So it's been a year. It's been absolutely crazy, and I have no idea what specifically I could mention. I'm
Oh,
just
sure. Sure.
all,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I understand. I get that.
I'm happy that my team is safe too, because we've had some close calls. We've definitely learned that this, if we didn't know already, we definitely know now. This is no joke, right?
Mhm.
So we have different security protocols in place and security employees that work on our security plans, and we try to keep everything pretty tight knit. So.
Very good. Yeah, stay safe out there. So here's something that you can talk about. Tell me about your OSINT classes that you have on Cyber Night Watch. Explain that to everybody.
Oh yeah, so we just launched our first. It's been my dream since I started. We actually started thinking about this company while we were in Estonia, walking in the snow, getting chased after by some threats. But one thing I really wanted to do was teach my own classes. So I spent a year researching all the OSINT classes out there, taking them myself, seeing where the gaps are in relation to the work that I do, and I developed my first course. So I'm really excited. It's on the website right now. We're in the process, and this is actually news for everybody. We're in the process of transitioning to a new platform. So it's going to be even better, and easier for everybody to use and easier for me to use while I'm traveling. So it's on the website, on the Academy tab on cybernightwatch.com. You can check it out. I'm going to have a lot of deals. Survivors get the course for free, of course, because I'm trying to build up some survivors that want to learn how to do the work that I do. And we're going to be launching a couple new courses within that same month. So it's going to be growing. It's going to become its own thing, and I'm super excited about it.
Very cool. Very cool. So if somebody, wants to, learn from you beyond this podcast, where can they find you in Cyber Night Watch online?
So they can find me on, if you type in Cyber Night Watch on Twitter, that's my username. And then cybernitewatch.com. That's NITE, not the regular spelling of night. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's cyber.nightwatch because Meta doesn't like me very much.
Yeah,
So
I've heard
I
you.
lost
I've heard you say
everything.
that before. Yeah.
Yeah. They removed me from my account because I said human trafficking on a live. So that sucked. But
Oh, yeah.
we keep going. And then on Facebook, it's Cyber Night Watch. And then all of the links are really on the website. But I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm really heavy on LinkedIn. So you can send me a follow or you can connect with me. I reply to everybody on there as well. So
Very good.
feel free to
So,
find me.
yeah, Alisa, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you're doing. I know it's hard work, but know that there are people who are out there cheering for you and appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor being here again today.